This is TWiT.
Should we start with Windows 11?
Yeah, why not?
What's news?
Well, Leo, I'm glad you asked. The Windows 11 update is not going so well, or upgrade, I should say, for Microsoft. So now they're going to ram it down our throats.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different ways of doing this. The first is they've announced that they're going to just automatically update to Windows 11 on non-managed PCs, meaning PCs run by individuals, right? So that's going to happen. The other thing, and this is the most beautiful Microsoft thing of all Microsoft things, people are starting to take screenshots of their, their computer screen, because you can't screenshot this part of it. It's during setup. And they're being told they need to upgrade to Windows 11. And there are two buttons. It says OK or do it later.
Those are your choices.
And those are the choices.
There's no never, huh? Cancel this.
Well, actually, Microsoft, there's a little link at the bottom. You have to really look for it. And it kind of says something like, click here to stay on Windows 10 or whatever.
So it's not just pushing to 22H2. It is getting you off of 10. They're
doing both, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am days away from building a couple of new PCs.
Yep.
And, I'm prone to 10 because I like my taskbar on the left. But I don't know if it's going to let me.
Well, you can configure Windows 11 to put it on the left.
They always say that, but is that really the right answer? If that's all you're worried about. Isn't there stuff in Windows 11 that is also like the centered taskbar?
Yeah.
Going to be bad for Mr. Campbell here?
You can't turn off the rounded corners. That might be an issue.
And you get the search pill.
Yeah.
You get the widgets where the start button used to be.
Yep. Yeah. Look, in my experience, because I've done this a lot and I've been kind of freaked out at how inconsistent it is. If you download the ISO from Microsoft, they actually do a pretty good job of keeping it up to date. Like you don't go back to October or whatever. I don't know. If you want to stay on Windows 10, you can. Of course, you can download that ISO as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're going to pester you. You only have like two and a half years.
It's kind of
right?
annoying. Yeah, this is kind of annoying. So you're going to see OK or do it later, and then at the bottom of that dialog box, in a somewhat low contrast font.
That's right.
It's going to say
like a 1-point font. There'll be a little link.
Blue on blue.
I want to stay with Windows 10.
Yeah.
So
I want to make bad choices.
Right. So my understanding is that this is probably like that screen you might see sometimes when you reboot and it says, "Hey, let's finish setting up," even though you have finished setting up.
Right.
And you can say, "Yeah, just remind me in 3 days," and then it just reminds you the next time you reboot, which is typically because you've installed some update that requires it. And I always just click through. I never want to go through that. I just don't care. Like I don't care what you want me to do. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to skip it. And I think it's that.
You're here to serve me, for crying out loud. Like
this feels like a dark pattern, though. I mean,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
It feels like they're really trying to trick people into going to Windows 11, and some percentage of people will just say, "Okay."
That's right. I wrote the first Delphi app I ever wrote was like this. It was like you try to click the button on the dialog and the dialog would move.
You're the one who did that. I
guess today we call that a dark pattern. But, kind of like spell checking is AI, I guess.
Did you do it for the lulz, Paul? Is that why you did that?
Well, I was just doing it to test Delphi.
Yeah. Can I keep the button away from the mouse?
That's it.
That's
the
right.
Cancel button that runs away.
That's right.
It's a classic. Always funny.
As
you
go to click on them, they actually flip positions, so you click on them.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
That's
well, actually, so I did that application as well. I had one called I always forget the name of it. It was visual. Back it was like a way to format the disk. What the heck was it called? Not disk part. Doesn't matter. It was a command line interface. So it was like a graphical front end to this thing back in the days when DOS was still part of Windows. And you would click cancel, and it would say, "Okay, formatting C," and it would go.
Oh God!
Inducing terror.
I always forget the name of that. I can't remember that command line utility. Yeah. Anyway, it was like a format type thing, but not format.
I also found that if I I made progress scores go back down, you get people to be really angry.
Yeah.
That's
right.
You get above 80%.
Oh, there's nothing like waiting for a computer to reboot, and then it goes to the second, it actually goes to the BIOS, comes back, and then it says, rewinding whatever you just did. And you're like, oh, come on. Like, come on.
So Steve makes a little program called In Control that, that's his way of saying never upgrade to Windows 11. I think it changes some registry entries is what it does.
Okay.
So there is a way to say, I don't want to ever be pestered about this.
Right.
The problem is when I'm looking at this, he's got a little an In Control page. It looks like you're also preventing updates of all kinds.
Oh, jeez.
Which would not be, wait a minute, operating system upgrades on your control system. Security updates will be received and installed as usual. Oh, but all feature updates and OS upgrading are under your control. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So you can say, I want to stay on.
What is he, some kind of a hippie?
My God, the socialism in action.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that. So he offers that for free. It's just a little assembly language tool. I'm sure it just changes a registry entry. So if you knew what the regedit was, you could probably do that.
Yeah. Well, and probably a bunch of them, actually, because why would you put it in one place?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it is.
And I bet his most important service is that it auto starts every time you boot up the machine, because every time you actually apply a patch, it's going to reset all those entries again.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem with a lot of these Windows 11 utilities, the things that try to bring it back to the way it was or change some behavior. Mm-hmm. Microsoft, they're actively
they'll revert it
to thwart that
stuff.
stuff.
They'll revert it.
Yeah.
Tech Break is brought to you by ACI Learning. ACI Learning partners with providers wanting to add video content and live labs to their training. From the academic sector to MSPs, ACI Learning improves the quality of learning with training that your team will love. Visit acilearning.com and learn how ACI can power up your IT team.